delinquency.
Everybody have an agenda and all this stuff?
Okay, well, we have seen a major improvement in the delinquency. It's obvious. We are collecting a lot of those cases. The attorneys are collecting as well. We just got a check, actually 2 checks from the attorneys, one from account 2109 for the full amount, and then we got another one from the attorneys as well for $2,077.98 from 14/026. Those 2 we recently collected. I don't know if you have had a chance to go over the foreclosures, the units that we use for the foreclosures. I sent you an email. We can go. These are the units that are ready.
I had it, but they sent me the email with the fact that they didn't have addresses, and Johan sent me the addresses, and I was going to go yesterday. He said,
Oh, okay, yeah, because I just sent you the account
I
numbers.
couldn't go yesterday, so I'll
Okay,
go.
so just when the same thing we did with the other, the last time. If
Yeah, just have to
any
look
of
at
the
the
units
house
are
and see
okay,
if it's
we
worth
will
doing.
move on. If I may, there's one of the units
It's
that
okay,
is
thanks,
owned by
just
the
go and
bank.
say yes, definitely.
Okay, so I will start moving on that
Because
one.
the bank will have to do something, they have to pay.
Okay, so,
I think I told you, but go ahead.
okay. Then we move on to the financials. I don't know if you have any questions concerning any of the units.
How many are paying now? Approximately?
How many
We
are?
have collected during the month of July, we collected about $30,400. So
100,000 shots.
throughout the whole year, we have collected $250,280 as of July, which is, if we continue that pattern, is going to bring you to close to $500,000 at the end of the year, which is more or less what you guys collected in the first 9 months. You collected last year about $200,000 in the first 9 months of last year.
Yeah, we're doing a big improvement.
Yeah, we are.
We know that. A big improvement. In July, you had $30,400 worth of assessments where you should have had $40,000,
Right. We were short by like 10,000.
which is a little less than, 90 homes.
Somewhere around 28%.
Much better than we were.
Yeah,
We were at 40%, okay.
right. So.
Little by little.
Yeah, it's just a matter of enforcing the collection and moving on with the liens and foreclosures and putting pressure on the ones that are not paying.
Is what we're going to do with our $50,000 part of finances?
We haven't discussed what we're doing with the $50,000.
Was it part of finances?
No. Well, it's going to show as an additional income.
Tell me when it
We should discuss it.
Just put it into other
Additionally,
Yeah, we have it as other income and it's classified.
Other income. The accounts get very confused. We don't have other income.
no, it shouldn't be another thing.
It's in the same account, but it will be classified in your financials
That's
as an
recovery.
insurance claim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Recovery that it was you're
Yeah.
supposed to have it.
The same way we have some other, like, for example, in your financials,
I'll put some
it
mention.
shows that we have collected, okay, let's go to page, profit and loss from January through July 2012, page 1. It gives you the breakdown of interest income, miscellaneous income, rental income, Then it gives you a refund that we received from the IRS, not from the IRS, but from the sprinkle system, and the owner's assessment, and that brings your total to 261,500 and whatever, and 76. That's your total income.
I got you in the other income, the rental income. What's miscellaneous income?
Okay, that's other monies that you have received which are not, it doesn't have a specific category.
We need to give it a specific category.
Do we know what?
I will have
The
to
rental-
do a breakdown
The rental
of that.
income, the rental income should be categorized as rental income and not in other income. It should be.
It's a subcategory of other income.
I know, it should not be. It should be a subcategory of its own income or subcategory of homeowner's assessment.
Well,
maybe.
it can be just by itself.
It could
Rental
be just
income.
by itself.
It's
But
all by itself.
Then miscellaneous income, we need to categorize, just so if I hadn't gone through this with Julio Acosta, I wouldn't have known to question the new accountant about the taxes, and we would have paid taxes again. We don't do this now. Our home association, no home association, pays taxes.
Right.
Not even on rental income. But when they categorize these accounts, we accustomed to the same thing. We had to go back and redo our tax, we had to pay for that. This one at least we caught its mistake. But I wouldn't have caught it if I hadn't had that experience before.
Right. Although I called him and I told him.
Yeah, and what did he say? Well, he just sent it.
He said, I send it over, please tell the board not to sign it, and then Johan told me, someone from the board, Richard, I think.
Yeah, I sent him the copies of
So we got it already.
the ones that they redid.
No homeowners association or condominium association, no
taxes.
profit association that's supposed to pay any taxes.
It goes into, it carries over to the next year in profit and loss.
Correct.
Anyway, on to new.
The rental income, is that a house that we're renting?
Yeah.
So miscellaneous income has to be the clubhouse rental, those sort of things?
All those things together. Okay? When we do the general ledger at the end of the year, it gives you all the breakdowns of all the categories with the amounts
We're doing
and.
very poorly here.
Right.
We keep laying out more money than we take in on that house.
Okay.
Okay.
2011 payroll update.
Okay.
We got an email from the CPA. Did I see that?
Yes, it's attached to your report.
I don't want to look at it, I'm sure.
No.
You look at it.
He says he responded to all the notices. At the present time, he has nothing pending. He recommends that we continue to respond as necessary. There is no other alternative if we don't have the detailed payroll records. So that's what he suggests that we do. Unless we get some sort of a notice from the IRS, we should leave it as it is. If we receive something from
What
the
did I say?
IRS, which then he will have to get involved, at that point, the attorney will decide if, because of the mistake that they made last year, filing the wrong things and, using the wrong tax ID number and so on and so forth, if there are, ways of going after the management company. But at this point, he suggests that we don't touch it until they come back to us.
I don't want to say I told you so, but that's exactly what I said.
Okay?
All right, that's the payroll update. Let's see if the-
And then we have a bunch of,
yeah, there was some concerns. Maybe Mr. Tamayo can.
Well, I'm Tamargo, not Tamayo.
What is it?
Tamargo.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, they got me as Tamayo.
Oh, that's where I got it from.
okay,
On the list, Mr. Tamargo is one of the ones that was noticed, and whatever corrections were made or addressed.
Yeah, they were addressed, and I appeared here. I'm in the finance committee.
okay.
But he was somehow, what's on here is that the recommendation was the fine.
And that's not correct. Wow.
The finance
Basically, the fines committee was concerned because they didn't keep a copy of all their notes when they turned them over, all these recommendations were what, necessarily what they recommended, or whether there was some confusion or what. So
Yeah,
we don't know.
there's problems with the list. So we need to get a copy of the notes that we took, that we
Okay.
turned over to the committee, to the management company. Also, I think there were 3 other people that came while the meeting was on, and I spoke to them, and I turned those notes over to the lady who was here.
Okay, but those people were part of the meeting? Were they part of what?
They came late. The 3 people that I met with, they came late while the regular
The
meeting
meeting was
was.
finished? The meeting was finished?
Yes, but there
So
wasn't,
technically, they were not,
technically, but there was a misunderstanding.
and they were
At the-
fine
at the
at that time?
Right, but they
They
should
are
have.
on the list that they were fine?
Yeah, but what he's saying was
He
after the
doesn't, he
meeting,
doesn't have, since he
he
doesn't have
gave
his
to
notes.
Sandra the notes from them
Right.
saying,
Well,
don't
the problem
find
is that we draft the minutes based on whatever you guys
I
have. at
didn't
home.
because my name appears on the list,
When
and
they
I wasn't
left,
fine.
Your name appear on the
Yes,
list?
because
Yes.
again, he was one of the ones that was
what number are you?
on the list to come down, and,
My name wasn't on the list.
Tamayo.
You didn't find me.
This has been addressed, in the meeting prior, it was addressed, I believe, and
Okay.
there was no recommendation for a fine, so there may have been some confusion with the notes.
There might be some confusion with the note because remember that the prior meeting, I took the notes
Right, but,
and I prepared the minutes
but,
on your behalf,
okay, but on my case,
right,
it was addressed last month. That's when
Right.
I was supposed to appear,
right,
which I did. I was the first one that appeared
right.
in order to take care of the, the rest of the people.
I still don't see him.
And my trees have been trimmed, and they took it off. You know, they,
His trees?
Okay,
So, anyway, a
right,
couple things. What we need to do, we're gonna have the finance committee, when they're done,
yeah, they're gonna
at
have
some
to draft
point,
then the minutes.
I don't know if they want to do minutes, if we can get a copy of his notes, I'm sure the notes will, based on your notes, you just want to be able to have a copy of your notes if there's some confusion to go back.
Right.
Can you scan, or I can do it, maybe I'll take them, scan them the next
Right,
day and
and
email
send it
them
over
to you. And
so that way you can receive your notes and I can draft my minutes from your notes.
right, the little
And that
money.
way-
But in this case, I believe that there's several people that are getting fined.
Yeah, here's,
Right.
You're
That's
getting
the
fine
second-
at this
here
point.
you
That's
are,
the
you're on the
yeah.
finance committee and you didn't come to your
You
meeting.
recommended that you get fined, so it's, no, what I was gonna recommend on that, since there's confusion, and it's the beginning of us issuing fines, we haven't yet, this will be the first ones.
That's not one at a time.
We have,
No, hold off on the
then we
fines.
ask,
Well,
see
this
if
will be the
maybe
second
Henry,
time.
or some of us, we have sent some out?
Well, we fined the
Oh,
last
from the
time,
first-
from the
time
first that I
around. There was a
attended.
couple, that's right. But since there's some confusion on these, I'm gonna recommend, if the board agrees, to have Henry or one of us go by and check to see the ones that we got
Don't
recommended.
you get a report from Henry?
I just wanted to go by these specific ones
Sandra
that we
handed
have.
me a report.
But this is something else.
Oh, wait, well, let's go to this. This is like the most important thing about this whole thing. They suggest the fines. The people come. Now, there's a report before they have a hearing that they don't get, that they should get, that Sandra gave, I gave it to Henry because she had Johan give it to me and I gave it to Henry, and Henry went around and looked at all the houses and then sent the report back to your office. He shouldn't be doing that. He should send the report, to them. They're the fines committee.
Actually,
And then-
what he does is to inspect whether or not
They fix the
it.
fines
So
or not,
that
and they put yes or no.
at that point, he has to send it to us because if they didn't fix it, we have to send a second letter out.
Okay,
letting them
no,
know
what you
that
need
it's
to
gonna
do
be
is send it
common.
to the fines
Okay.
committee.
In my case, the trees have been trimmed, and if Henry went and inspected it, he should have notified me. Yet, you put me on the list.
Yeah, we don't, there's no, I don't
I
know.
mean, we put you on the list based on whatever information we got from him.
Okay. Let's establish the ground rules on foliage over the street.
We did that.
If it's 16 feet or higher, that's not a violation,
Correct.
okay? So mine are 20 feet or higher. So Henry has to be informed, you know, hey, this foliage over the street, you know, make sure that it's not too low. You know, because then if he drives by and he sees foliage and says, yeah, it hasn't been trimmed, because he doesn't look at the height.
Yeah.
Let's remove it.
All right, what I was going to recommend was that we specifically, with just the list of ones that were recommended for time, we review, we go out and take a look and see if it's taken care of. Maybe it was taken care of last week and they should have been fined, but since there's confusion on our end, I'd rather err on the side of not finding somebody. That's my recommendation, but Richard is recommending we just find him and then argue it.
No, I don't even think to argue it. I think we should just find them, and if they call the office and have a complaint, just remove the fine, put it as a pending fine, no? Remove the fine until you straighten out the complaint. If we don't get started with this ever, the idea of fine is not to make people pay us money. We don't want to collect money for fines. We want them to fix their houses and make their neighborhood look like it's supposed to.
Right.
So if we've been putting this off for how long?
I'm not putting anything off.
A year?
All I'm suggesting.
Almost 2 years we've been putting this off. We finally got a system going. We should do it. No, and sure we have some mistakes. There's mistakes. Just normal people are human beings. We're not the Catholic Church.
Just deal with it case by case.
No, and then if somebody calls and says, hey, just like he, I shouldn't have even been on the list. First of all, I'm on the fines committee. I definitely didn't fine myself. No, I was definitely in attendance for the fines committee meeting because I'm on the fines committee. I'm the one that made the recommendation. No, just no argument. Lift the fine immediately. Put it in a pending status. No, and figure out what happened. Then you can call them back after you figure out what happened and say, I'm sorry, no, that this happened. No.
Okay, but
All I'm recommending, Richard, is not to put it off another month or to keep putting it off, is that we can vote now to say, any of these that have not been taken care of, we're going to fine. And then next week, we'll verify.
I don't care, so.
Well, I'm saying what my suggestion is, and we can put it to a vote.
We've been putting off and putting off and putting off and putting off. And just like this guy here that I sent pictures about you all to of his house, that he came here and lied and said he fixed his problems and didn't fix his problems. We're going to keep putting this off. But okay, if you want to do that, I'll abstain.
And if they complain, we'll take it on.
I'll abstain from the vote.
If they fix it.
Paul, you got your vote. Paul, what's your thought?
yeah, well, we still need the notes that we made because we gave extensions to some of the people.
The people
Now, if
that
we give
receive
them-
extensions, they're here.
They're here.
They're here listed already in the
There are
minutes
some
of
noted that have extensions.
I'm only seeing a couple of
the
extensions
ones
here.
that,
And there were
those
more.
are the ones that were listed.
I have a really good idea.
Either were
It's
corrected
very
or
simple. When we'll have the next fines committee meeting, whatever notes you have, give to me. I'll make copies on my copy machine. When Johan comes, he comes every Thursday, I will give him your notes, the copies of your notes, and I'll give you back your original notes. So then nobody will ever have a problem. You'll have your original notes with everything said, and then if there's a mistake, mistakes happen. Go.
Paul, what's your thought?
Yeah, I'm with you, because I'd rather be proactive than fixing the errors instead of pissing people off that came and did the right thing. Because if you came to the meeting because you had an issue, you got an extension or whatever, you're absolved, and then you get another fine, you're going to be really upset. So to take a couple extra days, have Henry to do some proactive work on it, and then send out the fines. But if we can approve everything now based on what Henry finds, so that we can immediately go out and see it done.
In other words, everybody except ones that we know for sure, like Mr. Camargo,
Right.
we're gonna recommend, we're gonna say he's not fine, this is off the list. I don't know how that, it's rectified, it's satisfied.
Yeah, take him off the list now.
Right.
U, item U, off
Right.
the
And
list.
it's on the third page.
The ones that are recommended, that according to our agenda, recommended to be fined, we're gonna verify within 1 week.
And approve the fine,
And
they're
if
verified.
they've not been corrected, they will be fined.
Yes.
Is that, are we in agreement on that? Voted to do that. So that includes,
And house number 7 on the latest month's report definitely did not remove his garbage cans, no, and paint his driveway, or replace the landscaping in his yard. I sent pictures to the whole finance committee and to everybody else.
if we know for sure, then we'll hit them right now.
So I said, we should fine him right now.
Let's go
And
real
he
quick.
lied to the finance committee, said he took care of all the
Can't fine him for lying. What's,
I think another fine for lying. $100 for lying.
so that's A, we're gonna verify and fine. B, verify and fine. C, got an extension, so that,
Yeah, the
got an
extension is
extension.
granted.
D, verify and fine. E, same. What was the one that you?
Barbara, do you still have the notes from there?
I need to check because I didn't do I wasn't present at the last meeting, so I need to check with her.
We'll verify and fine.
F is the same.
G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, no, L, M, N, O, we gave an extension to. P, Q, R, S, T, will verify and fine. U, we're taking off the list completely. No. V will verify and fine, and X will verify and fine. And then the next one will verify all of these too. This month's meeting, finance committee meeting. This is the monthly prior that you're looking at.
No,
Right.
This is the prior one?
Yeah.
This is
It's
already
not
2 months
happened.
up.
What happened today?
This is last month.
Right.
This is what we did. Now, this was all the recommendations to the finance committee, no? And I was going to go and look at these houses, but I didn't do it. And I would like to say number 7, we should fine him for 1, 2, 3 fines immediately. Wow. Totally. That's, I mean, you don't want to do that?
I cannot make a decision for the entire committee.
Well,
Yeah,
Two
I'm
fines?
confused too, because
This is the one
So
that's
we never-
corrected. This was the, this is.
There's been 2
the
months.
violations. It's the different.
There's been 2,
No fines.
well, including this month, there's been 3 fines made.
Right.
Right.
And we haven't approved or done anything with any of them?
That's what
Oh,
I was trying to say.
yeah. We did the last ones.
No, wait a minute.
The one that I was at the last meeting, which was the first one, what we did, I was in attendance at the fining committee and at the regular board meeting, so I presented to you at that meeting the decisions. Those decisions were approved. Okay, so whomever was at that time, which I have it here.
So, which I get that. I get what you're saying.
So then we had
Okay, this is.
last
okay,
meeting.
I'm wrong. No, let's go. This is from, this is what we just did right now, is from
Last
last
month.
meeting. This is from the prior meeting.
So this has already been.
No.
it can't be. This is a cleaned up version of this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh,
No,
okay.
this is a.
The other ones are the minutes
This is
of
the
the,
minutes.
these are the minutes of the committee that we drafted for them.
This is.
So I see. So if you didn't have a fine, you didn't go on this list unless they had it. So then let's go to number 7. Put them on the list and fine them. That you took off the list because the finance committee recommended the violation of permit because he lied. I have pictures on my other
The
phone.
violation has not been corrected.
What's that?
You understand?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have not been corrected. I went myself.
Yeah.
Let me see if this phone to my Windows mail said
Okay,
it moved my stuff.
I think that what needs to be done with number 7 is to write him a letter first, because if, I mean, I don't know if he came to the meeting.
Yes, he did.
He
He
did.
Oh, he came to the meeting.
And he lied.
Yeah.
So now we have to
And he
let
brought
him
lawyers
know
Because that's all.
that,
And he lied.
exactly.
All right, this is what my whole thing was, this is what the whole conversation was last time. If somebody comes into the meeting, the finance committee, and the finance committee is working hard, they say, they don't have to do this. And they come in and they say, okay, now we're supposed to pressure clean your roof, clean up the trees on your property, pave your fence and whatever, and they come in, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that, we didn't do this, we want an extension for that, okay, they gave an extension. But then you get somebody that comes in, we fixed everything that's on your fines list, one by one, you know? Especially the flag, we're allowed to hang the flag in the front of our house, even though it wasn't hung correctly. But we didn't even worry about that. And we said, okay, recommended no violations because he's taking care of everything. So I just went in the morning and took my little camera and I sent you pictures. He has no grass in any of his yard at all. His trash cans are still right in front of his house. I sent you pictures of that. There's nothing's been fixed in his house. No, for driveway hasn't been ever.
Sure, get him for a spader to
So send a letter saying,
And that's it.
But this is
You know,
it costs us money to send letters. Every time I send a letter. Charge him the $100 and send a letter.
yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Look, we're charging you the $100, and at least out of the $100, no, we pay for part of the letter, you know?
You know, but just say, this has not been corrected, therefore we're not.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, don't mention the
And
flag.
I tend to agree with that.
What?
And
We missed that.
bear with me.
We missed
As
that.
much as I would like to just nail this person as well.
It's not this person.
But I understand.
Anybody
The
that
issue-
does that.
The issue is, and in the future, this is what we discussed.
The fine, if you want in the future.
Right, but
Was
this is what we discussed earlier with the fines committee. In the future, when that happens, someone comes in here and says, I took care of everything, rather than them recommending at that time, okay, it's corrected, saying pending verification. Then we can say, okay, we went to verify it, it wasn't done, and we fined you anyway. And that way they know then that they're gonna check, and if it's not done, they're gonna get fined. If he walked out of here thinking that everything was good, which he did, because that's what he was
But
told.
he knows the rules
then
more than any of
we
us should.
Right, but for the process.
Then we should, the right thing to do is to send him another letter, give him the opportunity.
On the meeting agenda, which number letter are you talking about now?
This is on the
It's not on the
minutes,
meeting agenda.
because it wasn't a recommendation for this meeting.
Oh.
It's removed. It's item number 7 on the
On the prior.
On the minutes.
On the minutes of the fine
minutes, which
committee.
say July
Do you have that?
18th.
No, we don't have that.
Okay, so that
Okay,
means
no,
that
no, I was just
the
wondering.
process change in our finance committee is that
Right, and that was my recommendation to them, that they word it that way, so that the homeowner knows that if it's not taken care of.
Okay, well, but can we make whatever we do to put number 7 on the list and send him a letter? Because he's off the list now.
I already did.
Okay.
But is Henry gonna verify all the ones that were taken off?
We're gonna,
Are you gonna do that?
No, but we'll see. I'm gonna verify these.
When are you gonna do that?
What?
When, Saturday?
I was gonna do it yesterday, but I only got the addresses, the actual
If you
physical
want to
addresses.
go on Saturday,
We can do that.
okay, we get together early in the morning Saturday.
We can do
So you
that.
guys are gonna
I'll
verify the
Richard.
ones that were recommended for removal?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay, I got an observation here. For example, talking about number 7, he could remove the garbage, that's doable.
Yes, when
The flag, let's not even
Don't
go
take a
there.
minute, huh?
With the flag, let's not even go there.
No, we're not going there.
And the only thing I think we could hit him for is the failure to paint dry and replace landscape.
Right,
Those
exactly.
2 things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but the garbage cans, you should make our president move his garbage cans in the back of his fence. too.
Yeah, because garbage, you just forget about it, you know? it's-
Hey, I know I can't talk, but he painted his driveway.
He painted the driveway? Okay, paint it.
And I'm here just as much as you guys do, but he painted his driveway.
Don't look like it.
He did.
Yeah?
He did.
What are you paying?
With that black stuff.
That's terrible.
That tarp?
Yeah.
Stay with that whole thing?
The regular stuff, yeah. No, he did.
So when did we do that?
Huh?
So what's the
He
feedback?
did that about a month
That's
ago.
my-
And he had his thing black. The neighbor was complaining because they couldn't drive it in because he was blocking the driveway, but he
Okay,
did.
let's correct it, that's what we gotta
So what do we do?
We're gonna fine him
The
for not
last
putting his
page.
trash cans away and for not replacing his grass in his yard.
This
Yeah, we're sending them a letter.
Yeah. Trash cans and what was the other?
And we'll, I'll go and verify this other thing.
Okay.
I'll send you pictures.
Everything on our agenda, we do have one other item. It should be fun. For those that aren't aware, we just this week, or on Friday, I believe, received a settlement check to the community for $50,000 for some, it's employee crime or
Dishonest.
dishonest,
Thievery by the board.
from the board at one time. So we actually were able to locate in the records $88,000 worth that was taken out. Our policy limit was $50,000, so they have settled it at the $50,000. And there's probably more that we couldn't locate, but it is what it is. At least we were able to recover $50,000 of our lost money. I think you want to discuss what we can do with it.
Yes, I did. I would like to at least get a quote, and at least fix our part of the walking path around the lake from where our property starts, and maybe our management company could get with that other management company and see if they could get that community to do the rest of it, so everybody could walk around the lake. That hasn't been done since we lived here. There's potholes right in back of my house.
Yeah, I hurt my ankle.
Yes, we're gonna get sued one day, because of that, and besides, it looks terrible, and it's not comfortable for the people, and a lot of people walk.
Even your dog will get hurt.
It shouldn't cost that much.
I don't think so. I think it'd be maybe 10 grand, and we get an extra 50 grand.
I would like to see some plans.
I'd like to see if we could coordinate and make the other association, so we could do the whole thing, We pay our
Can we get some quotes?
percentage, and they pay theirs.
But let's get it two ways. One doing our half, and one doing the whole thing.
The whole thing.
And then with the whole thing, we can present it to them if they want to split it.
This is for
The walkway behind the
the
lake.
lake.
That's supposed to be,
And all of the,
that's supposed to be, the two guys, two kings that came already,
Uh-huh.
for that same thing.
Okay.
Sandra sent two people, but
Oh, we've already done it?
yeah, that's in progress.
She sent some, but I couldn't pass by the office. I have to leave the office early today.
No, they didn't have it yet, but I know that's in
But
progress.
I know that they got something in the afternoon, late in the afternoon, and I think it was
If you're
something
working on it,
related
you
to
can
that.
skip it. I just thought it was a good idea. We got an extra 50.
No, remember you mentioned it last meeting?
I even have to bring some checks, and I couldn't, I had an emergency with my dad, so I couldn't pass by the office.
okay, and I don't recall offhand, were we getting quotes for dates?
Yes,
Personally, we're working on that as well.
the two things. The only thing
Personally, that's what I'd like to see.
the only thing, Richard, I do have to add to her, to Sandra, to have them give us a separate quote for the complete thing. Because I only said just for our piece.
Yeah,
There will be one and one, just one part, which will be this Marbella, and one for the entire, for the two Marbellas.
By email, right? No, that was, just new. Give it to you.
Okay. Mr. Delmar, do you have any comments?
So we are that far here?
The same thing.
At the end.
Wrapping it up.
This is what quarter?
No comment.
Mr. Morales.
I want to see some plants in the neighborhood. I want to see our neighborhood looking nice. And we need a garbage can around the lake, and that dog, what Paul suggested last time, a doggy bag with a
It's the
pool
same
guard and
thing,
all
that's
that
both
stuff.
the same thing. It's a penalty for not filing.
And signs, we don't have no signs. Somebody drowns in that lake, we in trouble, wrongful death, because we don't have no signs telling people not to swim in the lake and stuff like that. So we used to have them before. I don't know what happened.
I have to send it over to him. He's gonna have to do the same thing he did with
I don't know, are we,
Don't feed the
are
animals.
we mandated to have signs that say that?
Well, somebody drowns, like we see people in the middle of the lake, they
Mr.
don't go and
Murrah,
say.
Mr. Murrah.
If the people are not smart enough not to drown, they're not smart enough to read the sign.
Mr. Murrah, could you head that up and take care of that?
I-
Because we already
I
got,
don't know.
we got some information already on the email about the signs.
We have a whole thing of signs.
Yeah.
that we should-
So
She
would you-
sent us a whole thing, I'll note an email.
Maybe it was sent to my junk mail thing.
The one that again, I was
The
writing.
sign thing, it says don't swim at your own risk, don't dive in the water because it has alligators. No,
Well, we
zip
have
up
to
your
choose.
fly when you leave the toilet, you
She
know.
sent it.
Don't
She
read
did
it.
send it.
That's
She
right.
said that too? I didn't get it.
Yeah,
She sent it, but we have not, nobody has answered.
Well, then you gotta pick the signs you like and vote on them, and then we'll decide if we're gonna put them up or not. It's all there, there's a whole
Sounds good
list
to
of
me.
them.
Not only the signs, sir, all those things that.
My idea is to put the mandatory sign, we need to put a sign in the pool. Now, that sign you need to buy, it has to be done correctly, and it's by Florida law. And other than what's by Florida law, I don't think we should.
That's in progress.
Other than what's in Florida law, I don't think we should put up. I do think we should put up the signs about your dogs pooping in my yard and underneath their feet of the people that are walking around the neighborhood. And I have to say, in the last few months, I've seen the people with their dogs actually with the little baggies picking up, which I hadn't seen prior. So just by talking about it and putting in the newsletter, people have been, that one lady that has a great big pit bull that always dump right there next on my driveway, she's been picking up.
No, she hasn't. She's just making up.
Oh,
I
she's
call her
walking around with the bag.
She's walking around with the bag.
But at least she has the bag with her, then one day she'll start picking it up, you know?
And also, there's a guy catching the dogs and eating them. Yes, it's not a joke.
That's what he likes cat. That was solve our other problem.
This guy comes, he's the one that dumps. It's an older couple, they dump a whole bunch of rice in the
Well, then I got an email from
and
a
then
lady
he walks
about
around with something, and then he grabs them like
Did you
that.
get that email from the lady that was complaining about the people feeding the ducks?
Tenemos un joven paso aquí.
And on the pathway back there, they dump
People think
rice
it's a joke.
buckets.
I also wanted to let you know that I spoke with the adjuster about the lawsuit that has been filed against the association. And actually, they have assigned already attorneys to the case. And he mentioned to me that at the present time, actually, the Rural Security Patrol was the one at that time. So they might be also included as part of the
That's
lawsuit.
the stupidest thing in the world. There are two people that live here that we could not, it's a stupid, just a stupid case.
Not only that,
have to defend.
They're offended and the judge will get it thrown out. They cannot say, you have two people that live in our community that are children of people that we.
and one of their claims, which is the most ridiculous one, is that they're claiming that the association should have known
Yeah, how could we know? We don't,
this problem.
we don't investigate the
I mean,
kids
this is just
of
for
the
the
people that
insurance
come here.
company to pay out some money.
Is it? Right, yeah.
So we know somebody was gonna
We're
hang
not
themselves in our
even,
name.
your management company, and we're
We
named
didn't,
sure.
as part of the
He's gonna
lawsuit.
sue
And your insurance will defend you too, that's what happens.
We'll
They
let
just pay everybody that wants insurance money.
Anything they request, those are yes, they will handle. That's how we have insurance. Paul, do you have anything?
Yeah, two things. One, at the last meeting, I asked for a letter to the security company about their non-performance.
Yes, okay, there was an issue with that. Sandra was under the impression that the attorney was gonna be the one writing that letter.
Okay.
Okay, because she mentioned that to me, and she said that you were not completely in agreement as to whether it was going to be sent from the management or it was going to be sent by the attorney with all the details that, based on their agreement, you want him to include.
Okay.
So that's what, that's what we are. I don't know what you would want to do with that.
I think, yeah, there was some discussion and we weren't even 100% sure today.
Right, that's what
when we
she
brought it
said.
back up.
Okay.
But if you guys would send a letter, I
Okay.
think that's what we
Do we want to have an attorney, I mean, Does that
Unless
work?
we think it
What do you
is.
I don't
recommend?
think it's necessary at this point. I mean, I think
Okay.
we can handle it.
Okay.
How many emails have you sent regarding the
I sent
company?
one-
'Cause
at
I
least
read
one a
them.
week.
I read every single one of them. And
At
every
least one a
single one you get the same response from, and every single one we know it's not happening. You know? So I just say, let the attorney write the letter, send him and let him write the letter according to their contract. They're in breach of their contract, they don't come up to, and start doing what they're supposed to do under their contract, we're gonna have to let them go.
Do you want the attorney to write it?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then what do we do?
Well, then we get another company, we get a company one day.
And if we're paying the same, they're paying the same, they're gonna get the same quality.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, I understand, you know, we're not paying a great rate, but
We're paying them.
this is a basic thing that they have. They have a list of 5 procedures they need to follow. It's not, you know, extremely difficult.
President
So,
Supermarket has 18 supermarkets in the south, the one that, the 2 partners, that he owns the south supermarket. They have the same security guard service for all the supermarkets, 24/7, okay? And they pay less than we do. Those people stand there and work very hard. And they're not the best either. They're making, I think, I don't know whatever minimum wage is, but that they make just minimum wage. And the company gets the rest. Now, it's not a big profit.
Want a letter from our attorney, or we want a letter from a less?
Okay, let's do that. Let them write a less formal letter, swing it by Maloney before it goes out. Let him, email it to him, just to let him peruse it and then send it out.
Okay.
Just so we're in the law according to our contract.
And number 2?
well, number 2 is just to avoid this type of miscommunication. From now on, in the notes, can we, at the end, before we adjourn, do a recap of what the action items are? So list them out, and then in the next meeting, have them in the agenda so we can just follow up on where they are. So maybe just, you know, in progress, like with the quotes. So can we, that way, we know at the end, here's all the action items, and then next month, we can easily follow up on where we are.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Okay?
It's whatever you decide.
Okay. And then I had asked for quotes for the doggy stations, like the.
They sent us that.
I haven't seen that. I saw the sign.
It's in my, well, now it's not, my computer's gone, but it was in my
Still,
computer.
How much are they?
Still in your
Yeah, they're
computer, you just
showing
don't
the
know where
outside.
it is.
I haven't seen those, so if someone could. find
I've
those.
seen them, they had the barrels, the
I'll look at it, yeah, I think it was all in one.
It was all in that
Some
sign.
signs.
Is that the same one?
It's the one that's saying one of the signs.
Is one, is.
Just a photocopy, I mean, I saw one sign there, but I didn't see any
No,
other options.
there's
no,
the
you have to-
barrels, you
you have
gotta
to
keep going
scroll.
down. It's long, a lot of pages.
Yes, a
I'll
lot of
look it
things.
up tomorrow and I'll get it sent it.
You got a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Richard? Nothing else?
I have plenty of things, but they're all gone.
And I'm good. Go around the room. Welcome. Do you have any comments or any questions? Okay.
Hey, hold on. No, go ahead.
Yeah, the area, notice the area around the streets, they're doing like some sort of a survey.
No,
I
they're
see
probably
these white
companies.
lines painted, like scoring out the areas where.
Well, there are probably
the streets-
companies coming out to give us estimates for the asphalt and, you know.
Yeah, I saw the lines painted on different areas.
Well, that's usually Comcast or the electric
Yeah.
company or the phone company or
If
whatever.
they're orange or
No, no,
red.
they're white. They're white lines and they're only in the areas where the street is sunken in.
Is sunken in.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be, they might be measuring the depth of how much asphalt they have to put down.
Oh.
It's possible.
Well, also there was a mention, I missed something about the flag being a proper or improper way of displaying your American flag.
There is, yeah, you can go on the internet, it tells you
Well, it
exactly
says
how to
it-
display an American flag. Goes on a pole.
No, you know, see, you know, I don't want to make it look like a post office or something.
No, that's true, we shouldn't, but
Yeah, there's a maximum size and
Right.
it should be taken down at night and during inclement weather. And, you know, the one in question was a car flag and it was all faded and it little embarrassing, but it was
We're not gonna complain about American flags or military flags
Yeah, we're
or
not,
any kind of
within
flag.
reason, we're all Americans.
There's a company also doing pamphlets, little cards for pressure washing the roof. I guess there's a way of calling Lake County to make sure that they're actually licensed, even though they say they're licensed or not.
We can look that, I don't know if there's a
We
license
need-
pressure.
There is a number you can call, and you give them that number that they say supposedly they're licensed and insured, and Lake County will tell you if they're listed.
Yeah, you can look it up online.
Yeah, they'll be able to tell you. If they don't, they transfer you to the department, they'll be able to tell you.
In that sign thing, we need to get a sign for no services.
So anybody that's gonna come and do work for your house, you can call the city,
Yeah.
and they'll tell you whether they have a license or not. All the people that did my house didn't have a license even to drive a car, but, but if you want somebody with a license, they can definitely, the city in a minute will tell you whether they have a license or not.
I finished pressure washing the side of the fence, the wall, whatever, the wooden fence. That I can do wrapped up.
Well, mine came out great. I had my handyman do the wood fence and paint it
Yeah, I
up.
did mine.
But I had a roofer clean my roof, an actual roofer. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
But just know that if you get anything on your door, it's not condoned or endorsed by the association, because as he's saying, they're not supposed to be doing that here.
Yeah.
The only thing that you would see will be in the newsletter that goes through. Anything else is not associated with us, not endorsed by us, and they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, we're
We
not allowed
should
to
address
listen.
it when possible. Okay, good. Alex?
I think the walkway around the lake is a great idea. I mean, but it's limited in terms of the homeowners that use it. You know, I would think that you would want to apply the money to other things that perhaps, like this fountain here in the middle that it looks a little dilapidated.
Well, I had that on my phone once. They took my phone to the new phone. My note, everything transferred. My notes thing, that note thing didn't transfer. Can we get like 20 cans of that?
So one of the improvements that they mentioned,
What you said,
We've been doing it.
I think it's great to do the walkway, however, to do something like the fountain.
Oh, that's not the what's wrong with
It's
it?
over there.
What's wrong with the statue?
No, what you were saying with it? I know what you were
Well,
saying.
I think that you should, that the money should be applied to something where it affects more people just
Yeah, what's it
than the
bad?
people who use the walkway or their homes are connected to the.
Well, should we vote on that? Do we want to get rid of the sculpture completely and sell it for scrap metal? Make some cash? Or you want to buy some cans of Rust-Oleum and paint the white one white again? Or we could buy some, just by paint the black one black. The black one looks nice. You don't see any red.
We can have it painted again, I'm sure. I'm sure that's something we can handle.
That's on the schedule, but it was on the schedule for closer to the end of the year because of the hurricane season.
Yeah, I would agree not to do it in the summer.
But there's several things that, just for you to know, that was one of the things that he was supposed to address, painting the streets, painting the guardhouse, painting the poles, the light poles. And then he was going to get the location of all the transformer and the property and have FPL come in and paint each one of them and set them correctly because some of them kind of shifted. So, but all of that was kind of, we're kind of looking at it closer to the end of the year. I would say middle of October going
So it's done for
to
Christmas.
avoid the hurricane. If there's anything with hurricane, then
Good idea.
the stuff will come out. But that's going to be
It's on
it's
the agenda.
on the agenda. But if you're talking about replacing that, that's
No,
something
not
different.
necessarily. I just gave that a suggestion. What I'm saying is that with this money, I think the community would want to see an improvement that gives a lot of bang for the buck, where a lot of people benefit from it, right? So if you were, let's say we just did the walkway in the back, how many of you would actually say, oh wow, they did the walkway in the back? You know, how many people actually see that walkway? Whereas if we did something that everybody who drives through can see it and appreciate it, It'll have a
Well,
bigger
yeah.
impact.
Oh,
It's not just the
I-
intrinsic value though, because part of that walkway is a liability issue.
No, I understand, I'm just trying to transfer.
No, I get your point.
That
We're not even gonna vote
the
to get that out.
investment.
And we're waiting on quotes for that too.
Asphalt
If it's
walkway.
$40,000, $50,000, and that's gonna go away by the wayside. You know, I fully expect it to be only a small portion of this. Again, I wanna see the gate,
It is a
The
liability.
beautification of it.
beautification.
We can,
They should
we
give us
can, we
recommendations.
can request
We can send out to the
beautification
homeowner,
community
I'll do that.
Well, you should go to the beautification committee, that's what they should
to
do.
look at some ideas and also touch bases with Alex.
We can send some
And
to
probably
the
could come
homeowner.
up with several ideas, recommendations
give it to
for
me.
next week.
No, I was
I'll
thinking,
send you my recommendation on the internet, that you can give me the money, and everybody else can say the same thing, let's fix my house.
I'm gonna email the homeowners and ask them that the board is
That's a
interested
good
in
point.
getting opinions.
Right, and then send that to the beautification committee, the recommendations to the homeowners, and let them tackle it when they can give
Because I
us.
still haven't.
Well, we're getting a bid to do the streets.
I told,
We already done on the streets.
Johan, 3 weeks ago, to give me a list of the checks he has outstanding, and I'll just give them to him, I have it.
Just Florido, and the two from.
Gonna put the brakes on?
I know, because this is right in my counter.
Richard, it's my turn.
Okay, I'm gonna have a cigarette waiting for me.
I'm just thinking, I got 3 things here real quick. Along the same line with the money, I would like you guys to consider investing some of the money on these playgrounds. Because they are really, they are really bad. And like Alex is saying, the community will look at that and I think the community will consider that, a good investment. Because I know of 2 of them, one by Ernesto and one by me, and they are really in need of some because they are really bad. Okay? The second item, I know it was brought up on the fines committee, the garbage can. That's a problem that is progressively getting worse. It's just that, the neighbors that just moved in right next to me recently, the 2-story house, I pointed it out to them. And what they said to me was, no problem, we didn't know, put it inside. We saw the neighbor across the street do it and we thought that's what it was. And back to Virgil, you guys noticed that his garbage can were out, and he does leave them out every night. However, 3 houses right around him do the same thing. Don't know if they got letters too, but if they didn't get letters, he got letters. That's kind of like picking on him. Because 3 houses right around him. On my street alone, I counted 10 houses, just 1 block on my street, that leave their garbage cans out every night. And it looked really bad, so we definitely need to address that. At first, when they gave us those new pins, it was like 99% of people put it in the back, but now I guess it's like monkey see, monkey do it. Everybody's leaving them out, so if we can really, go after that, because we really need to. And the last item, I wrote you guys an email about 3 weeks ago with regards to the house right next to me. In the last 8 months, since November of last year, they have had 4 renters in there, big families, and I don't think not one of them have gotten approved from the association. The very last one, the same day they moved in, they already had the stickers on their cars. So what are we doing about that? That's what I got.
If the stickers are given, it's because they have submitted an application.
No, they haven't. They have not.
Feeling these.
They have not.
Those were the old stickers.
They have not.
Somebody else.
And I copied you guys on that email, and basically what you
Yeah,
did.
no, and I think you even spoke with Omar.
No, yes, I mentioned it briefly.
Yeah.
And based on what you just said, it sounded like nothing is being done about it. And I'm right next to them. I got 2 little kids, and now I'm concerned because I don't know who's moving in and out of the house. I'm talking about people moving in and out. And the people that live there, they are not all in the same family. They rent by the rooms. It's all kinds of stuff going on in there.
You have an address? You have an address?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yes, that email, I sent you guys all the information. I copied them, sent it to everybody.
Nick responded.
Yeah.
And he responded, saying that he sent it to them, but obviously they didn't know about it. And I didn't mention that.
We've all been started by
Is that lady that used to be a guard?
Yes, but they are the old, she's the owner.
Do you remember the address offhand?
It's 195, I'm 19602, they're 19592.
Because the one that Omar gave me didn't match.
19592, right next to mine.
19592.
Yes.
The lady from
West.
the guard says they're giving her all
What
kinds
else?
of trouble. I said,
Maybe
"Well,
second
fix it out."
place.
She's the owner, yeah, she's the owner. And she got all kinds of stuff going on. These people just moved. The last people that moved down, they moved down a month ago. And the same day, the following day, these new people moved in. It's like in and out, in and out. And I mentioned the sticker to Nick, and based on the color, Nick had mentioned to me that those are the old stickers.
That's the old sticker.
And for whatever it's worth, the owner and Virgil are super good friends. She's the lady that was advocating for him on TV.
Odds are he's got old stickers left.
Yeah.
Among all
And
kind
they
of.
probably gave that
Why don't
one
we-
that came into our neighborhood.
Can you by
The lady
tomorrow
was on TV.
research that and send me an email if we've done anything? If
No,
not,
she's right.
let's get on it
Yeah,
right
because I will
away.
have to go through the whole list, and that way I.
We'll have an answer by tomorrow. If it hasn't been done, which I'm hoping it has,
What hasn't been done?
first we have to contact the owner and say, hey.
What's her name?
You're in violation.
I don't know the name.
What's her first name?
I don't know anything. I just know the address.
You know the lady?
No, I don't know the owner. It's the lady that used to work security.
Yeah, no, but what's her name? I
She
know-
was on TV, go on the news thing on the
Well, it's
website.
under, the house is under her husband's name alone, but she is the owner. That's how it was. If you look it on the thing, it comes out under her
All the
husband.
people are here. If we had a name, just give her a number and she could go right to it, and we don't have any confusion.
She just had a stack of violation letters that she needs to go through.
I sent this email 3 weeks ago.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
I agree.
it. Don't worry about
If
it.
it hasn't been, I'm hoping it has. We've got to look through all the violation letters that have been sent out, and if it's in there,
What's
then
his
we're-
name?
We have this, we have the information.
What's?
either way, we'll have an answer by tomorrow.
We have it.
19592.
We don't have, see, they don't have the.
His name is Oscar. Oscar.
Oscar.
O-S-C-A-R, Valido. Oscar Valido.
Balido.
Valido.
Balido.
Yes, Oscar.
Okay. Oscar Valido, he's 16024. 16024.
195, Northwest 87.
On account number 16024. And then what's her name?
You go down to his name.
Oh, okay.
It's all over his name.
This is in bank foreclosure, this property, and it's with the attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, but send them out fine letters.
Okay? So that,
Besides that.
Yeah, that's it.
Fine them for having tenants in their house that aren't the residents.
I personally told the tenant that, you know, be careful when you're giving your money to, because this house is under foreclosure. I know a bunch of stuff about that house. I've been dealing with that house
it's a
forever.
bank foreclosure,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it is already with the new attorney.
Yeah. Are they paying their fees?
No.
If it is in bank.
No, they don't.
Okay, you can go to the tenant and say, give me the money.
Yeah.
The rental.
Yeah, the attorney's on. The attorney's,
Yeah.
it's in the
It's
attorney's
already the
hands
attorney.
as far as that. But in the meantime, we have to address these renters. They haven't been approved to come in here, and that's a whole other issue that we will address.
Maybe she can go to Telemundo and talk about that too.
Be my guest. It could be the first time. I'm not going on camera this time.
No, she, but she was already on Telemundo talking about the flag.
I'm not kidding you, I had at least 1,000 people from in my stores.
Boy, you're famous. I saw you on TV.
At least
But anyway, out of my three concerns, that's my number one, please, because, you know, I'm concerned now. And it should not only be me concerned, because that's, you know, that's a liability for the community as well. We're already being sued because we should have known about the back there. Now, you guys are on notice about this one.
Yeah, we can pay now.
Senor.
8239 Northwest 199th Street, July is still up.
82. What was the address?
Of 8239 Northwest 199th or across the street from 8230.
199th Street. Okay,
199th Street.
That's right,
That's in front of my house, across the street from my house. That one hasn't been fixed.
okay, I guess I'm gonna look at it tomorrow.
Well, the
Tomorrow,
the
right, tomorrow,
fine-
Thursday, no.
didn't find the people that
Right.
live there.
Right. I said, but have you sent me something?
I told Sandra, and she had the other one fixed, the one on the side of my house.
They put new.
That one we got to fix.
in.
But no, but we didn't know, I didn't know, she didn't get, okay, I didn't know that one was bad. I had that one fixed, that's,
Yeah,
okay.
and I told them both.
Okay.
Can we talk to the beautification committee about the,
So
No.
the three standing checks. The three installment checks that I have.
I'll just take the check out and put void on, let me get back to you.
Okay, but I need them voided.
Okay, I'll wait.
Send it
That's-
to Dolan.
I'll give it to him.
The next question,
That's
the
how-
accountant checks,
Uh-huh.
what's gonna happen? Because
You all tell me what's gonna happen. We have, the only thing that we have in your contract is you're gonna do payroll for one employee. We agreed to pay the account, yes, it's in your contract, but look,
no, look.
yes, it's in your contract.
Let's look at that after. Let's finish this and let's.
Okay.
With that, we're done. Meeting adjourned.
So move.
I second and third and fourth.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
The book is the meeting.
Aye.